Hey guys, so this isn't a reading. I do intend to do my love reading later this evening, but this is more of like, let's just talk for a minute. I've been hearing some things in spirit that they just want me to talk about out loud. Um, One, if you're in this collective and this video is for you, you've been on top of your business as of recently. You've been taking care of what you need to take care of. Something that you've been putting off. You've been procrastinating, but you're really like stepping out into the world and getting on top of your business. I feel like you're contemplating or you're in your head a little bit about your spirituality. I feel like when you first awakened, you were like the veil was lifted and you were seeing things completely different, and you were experiencing the spiritual side of life at an extreme. You know, like you were taken away by how everything seemed to be extremely spiritual. You're seeing tons of signs, synchronicities. You were having vivid and prophetic dreams and downloads. And you may have, I'm feeling like you were in a place where if you became too, emerged in your physical reality and stepped away from the books or the readings or, the meditations, that you were going to fall off track or lose sight of that connection. It's quite the opposite, actually. You may have noticed recently, now that you are, minding your business and you're standing on business, and you have maybe put things aside for a little bit to focus on, your 3D reality, the things that you need to take care of. Like, it could be anything. It could be work related. It could be family related. It could be, just spending time outside, swimming, going to, amusement parks, going to the beach, going to get-togethers, whatever it is that you're doing that's filling up your time right now. I feel like now all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you're starting to see an influx again of signs and synchronicities. This is by no mistake. Sometimes we can get really caught up in the spiritual aspect of this life and be so driven to like almost chase it, where it's not feeling divine. It's not feeling like it's aligned. It's almost feeling like it's forced. Like it's a forced synchronicity, a forced sequence, a forced alignment, that we do have to ground ourselves. And grounding doesn't have to be, through meditation. It doesn't have to be by standing out on your front lawn barefoot and like talking to the trees. Grounding is simply getting physical. It's pulling your brain waves into like a state where you're completely present and aware of your physical surroundings and immersed into that 3D reality. A lot of us needed to ground, and I feel like we are. We're definitely grounding this week. And you're starting to see now the signs and synchronicities starting to come through again. But there's something about that I was getting from Spirit today in regards to the signs and synchronicities that are now coming through. I feel like you've like crossed this threshold. You've stepped past like the learning phase of your spirituality, the awakening phase, the dark night of the soul you may have gone through several times, but now you're kind of like, if we're looking at it like the school of life, maybe the awakening phase was you stepping into kindergarten. Well, right now, you're at a higher level of learning. You're experienced. You are well-versed in the topic, and now it's about like the merging of the physical and the spiritual together, and you're right there. So because you are so advanced and because you're so, well-versed and you understand how things work from your own perspective and how you've experienced it thus far, the signs coming in, you're going to be getting it from two extreme polar opposites. It's going to be, your light and your dark. You're going to have your like alter egos. You're going to have the shadow aspects and you're going to have the light aspects. You're also, when you're divinely watched and loved by Source and by God, you're also heavily watched and sought after by the devil. So you're dealing with two polar opposites here. So if you're getting divine information and like sequences and numbers and downloads from spirit, divine spirit, light spirit, you are also going to be receiving at this time plenty of information and synchronicities and downloads from that of the darker nature. So this is where discernment comes in, and we have to pay attention to the signs. When the signs come through to you, if it's divinely led, it should feel very uplifting. You should feel this like light bulb go off in your mind. A spark that just like fills you up in your soul, and you're going to be like, yes, I knew it. I feel this. I knew this the whole time. It's going to just feel like it makes sense. Like, I know this sign is meant to be. I understand what it means. It definitely checks out. Now, you're going to be seeing numbers and other signs that are coming through, but there's going to be a level of, like, hesitation. You're going to see it. You're going to say, that looks like a sign. Or, I see the repeating numbers followed by this sign. But you're going to feel something weird within your soul. You're going to feel something off in your energy. It's going to feel very unsettled within your spirit. You're going to know. So you have to pay attention to the way that your body feels as these signs are coming through. That's where you use your discernment, and you've come this far. This is the point where you have to start like using that discernment for yourself. And I think a lot of us lean in on one another as a community. I think all of us out here that are putting out information or personal stories and experiences or sharing tarot reads or channeled messages and downloads, I know for a majority of the people that are out here doing that, it's because we want to try to help and uplift and open the minds up of other people around us. I feel like because we're all interconnected, we can all understand to some degree what everyone else is going through, and we can learn some things by listening to other people's experiences, advice, stories, and whatnot. But there comes a point to where if you're only listening to what everyone else has to say, but you're not actually immersed into the experience and doing the legwork and the shadow work and paying attention and using your own discernment when it comes to messages and downloads and synchronicities, then you're not on your own path. You're following the path of others. So there, you have to use good judgment here. Take in the information that you're being offered because it comes from a place of good intentions for most people out here, and also do the legwork to understand, is this information meant for me? Does this resonate with me? Does this make me feel weird inside? Because I do feel right now you're going to be heavily approached by a lot of individuals in this, in your environment that are coming to you with intentions to manipulate or to steal. And I talk like steal as in spiritually steal. And you just have to be very careful. I've noticed an increase myself on my end with a lot of like false accounts and people posing to be someone when indeed they're not, and it can be really, really convincing. There's people out there that really pull the wool over your eyes, and they're really good at it. Like, this is what they do for a living. This is how they either steal your financial, physical financial money, or your spiritual wealth. So that's another thing to keep an eye on right now, because more so, I think, even, I don't want to say for just the readers. I feel like for the readers and the channelers and the spiritualists that have platforms, just be mindful of how many people out there are stealing your content and how they're, posing as you, and they're reaching out to your collective and trying to manipulate them. And for the people that are in the spiritual community that interact and that watch a lot of these channels, be very careful about how many people are out there just posing as someone else. I've had 4 or 5 accounts today add me, that I know who the original owner of the account is. I've been friends with them and followed their page for years now. So I already know, like, these are posers. These are people that are faking. And, you know, I immediately just delete and block those profiles. But, you know, you just have to be very mindful, because there's a spiritual war going on right now as well. You may not be able to see it, but you can sense it. And when they see that people are being, you know, awakened and drawn to the light, and they're like waking up to everything going on around them, they're going to go at, like, they're gonna like call out all the stops. Like, they're gonna come through. They're going to like up the ante and try to throw you off your path. And the first form is through deception and your own naivety. So just be very careful about who you interact with and who you allow into your energy. And when you're like looking at signs and synchronicities, be very mindful of, does this feel right? Does this feel like a false sign or synchronicity? Is this some darker energy at play here, trying to convince me to go this way when indeed I should not? Or does it feel right? Does it connect? Does it resonate? Does it make sense? So that's just something that I've been thinking about a lot today, and because I've been getting signs and synchronicities from every which way, but not all of them made sense. The signs are there, the synchronicities are there, but it made me feel really uneasy inside, and I knew right away, this is not meant for me. This is fake. This is false. The synchronicity is being sent in by something other than divine. But then I did receive like a sign earlier today that made complete sense, and as soon as I saw it, my heart like leapt out of my chest, and I felt like this, I just knew my spirit team was with me. It's just like this inner knowing, like I just knew, and it made me feel so good, and I felt so safe and supported and protected and guided, and I knew my team was with me, and it made sense. That's exactly how you should feel when you see these signs and synchronicities. You shouldn't feel fear, anxiety, unease, none of that. So, not sure who needed to hear that today. It's a little out of pocket for me to go on like this about something of this nature. But I felt really pulled to talking about it for some reason, and really called to sharing it. Like, Spirit's been on me all day to sit down and to post this information for some reason, for someone out there. I've just been extremely busy and taking care and minding my matters and my business today. But here it is. I hope it did resonate with someone. I hope it reached the right people. And I will catch you guys on the love reading later this evening. Have a good one. Bye.